Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me here today. I really appreciate it. I'd like to begin with a moment of reflection and remembrance and commemoration in light of the pictures of all the victims of the CCP's oppression in China for the Falun Gong. We could all take a moment, please, in silence. As mentioned, I'm Eric Gulen, one of the 9 commissioners serving on the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, or USERF. It's my real privilege and deep honor to be with all of you today. And on behalf of our chairman, Mary Turkle, and our vice chairman, Dave Cooper, and all members of the commission, I would like to thank the Falun Gong Association of Washington, D.C. for having all of us here today. We gather together to share in condemning the brutal oppression of the Falun Gong in China. We must never forget that countless Falun Gong practitioners, past and present, unjustly punished at the hands of China's government. Under Xi Jinping's authoritarian rule, religious freedom conditions in China have rapidly deteriorated in the last 13 years. Not since the worst days of the Cultural Revolution have we seen such widespread and terrible persecution of religious communities in China, including the Falun Gong. USERF has repeatedly spotlighted how China's government harasses, detains, imprisons, and tortures Falun Gong practitioners. Victims of this terrible mistreatment have even died at the hands of Chinese officials. This shocks the conscience and should seize our souls. USERF is intently focused on the terrible ongoing reports of forced organ harvesting of Falun Gong practitioners. This must be condemned by our government, governments around the world, and all peoples of good conscience. Now, for many years, USERF has been calling out China's abuses and their violations of religious freedom. Since our very first report 22 years ago, just 1 year after this persecution began, USERF has repeatedly asked the State Department to designate China as a country of particular concern. We have urged the U.S. government again and again and again to take real, meaningful actions to hold the Chinese government to account. Now, we have been gratified when the U.S. government has followed USERF's recommendations. They have consistently designated China a country of particular concern for the last 22 years. They have sanctioned Chinese government officials responsible for religious freedom violations, including even one responsible for the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners. And just this year, they implemented a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. But we also strongly believe that the U.S. government must work together with like-minded partners to expose all of China's religious freedom abuses, impose targeted sanctions for severe religious freedom violations, and propose new ways to stand up together for the right to freedom of religion. So strongly has USERF spoken out against China's abuses of religious freedom that China recently took the extreme step of sanctioning multiple USERF commissioners in retaliation for simply speaking the truth to power. But the USERF has not been scared. We are not running away. We will continue this fight. More can and must be done to combat the Chinese government's terrible abuses, and USERF will always demand action, insist on change, and drive to the day when Falun Gong practitioners can freely practice their beliefs in China. USERF applauds your courage and your advocacy in defending religious freedom in China. Falun Gong believers and believers of all faiths and traditions must be able to worship freely, safely, and peacefully in China. And working together, all of us will ultimately see a better day in China for all people of faith. So on behalf of USERF and supporting the belief in religious freedom that we all share, with our conscience seized and our purpose strong, I urge all of us in confidence to say, onward, ever onward. Thank you all very much.